today.
Sorry.
Because how about them Cowboys? We are going to win the NFC East. You heard it here first. You heard it here last. Let's start the show. Here we go.
You done jumped off, jumped back on, jumped off. Now you back on.
It has been a roller coaster. I saw you celebrating yesterday, Skip, with those moves. But we do have to get started in the NFC East, where things are very much alive. Washington couldn't pull out a win over Carolina, and Dallas came back from down 14-3 to win 37-17 over Philadelphia. The Cowboys defense showed up again, forcing 3 turnovers, and Zeke had over 100 yards on the ground. So Dallas still has a path to winning the division next week. They are very much alive. So Shannon, are you any more sold on the Cowboys now?
No, I'm not any more sold on the Cowboys now. They just happen to be playing the best football in a very bad division. And if you look at the teams that they've beat the last 3 games, they beat Cincinnati, has 4 wins. The 49ers, their injury history and what's been going on with them, has 6 wins. And Philly have 4 wins. So all 6 of their wins this year have come against teams that's outside of the playoff picture. Give them credit. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to beat the bad teams and give yourself an opportunity or chance to make the playoffs. But Jalen Hurts didn't play well. Now, the questions that everybody had, oh, this is it. Jalen Hurts is the quarterback of the future. Carson Wentz is officially done. Now, I just want to know, what would the story be this morning in Philly or across the nation had Carson Wentz turned the ball over 3 times in the second half and didn't score a point? What would the storyline be? Because that's what Jalen Hurts did. Jalen Hurts turned the ball over 3 times, did not score a point in the second half. 3 turnovers in the second half. So this notion that Philly have found their quarterback of the future is not true, and it has not been true. But back to this. Skip, the Eagles aren't a good football team. And once Fletcher Cox went out of that ball game, now they could not generate the pressure with the 4-man. Skip, their secondary. I'm trying to think of another secondary that's as bad as the Eagles. They paid Darius Slay, and he likes to go by the moniker Big Play Slay. But it's Big Play the other way if you play in the Eagles. Michael Jacquet, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He got so bad he became unplayable. When a guy in the National Football League becomes unplayable, it lets you know how bad they actually are in the secondary. And that's what's happened. But give the Cowboys credit, Skip. I will give them credit. They could have easily lost this game and we'd have been having a different conversation. But they did what they were supposed to do. But am I any more confident in them? And I remember telling you last week, Skip, I said, I hope y'all guys win this game, because I wanted to hurt a little bit more. Because if you get to this point, and then you don't cross over, that's when it really hurts you, Skip. So that's what I'm counting on. Now, I'm very disappointed with Skip. We talked about this at the beginning. We talked about it at the middle of the week when we found out that Haskins had did what he had did last week after the Seattle game. They lost the game, and he chose to go out. And so I had no confidence in him. Now, he just wrote himself a one-way ticket. I believe he was out of there anyway, but there's no question about it. I mean, if Ron Rivera could have, he probably would have shipped him out last night. But I'm not going to put it all on Haskins. The defense didn't do what they were supposed to do either, because they're a defensive-led football team. And I thought the Carolina Panthers was able to run the football. They did a good job of protecting Teddy Bridgewater, and he made enough plays. But give the Cowboys credit. Today, hey, not going to beat them up too bad, but to say this notion that all of a sudden they are a contender, no, they're not, and they will not make the playoffs.
Well, wait a second. You concluded by saying give them credit, but your first sentence was you give them no credit.
No, what I'm saying, Skip, look, they did what they were supposed to do. They beat a bad football team. See, you want to make it seem as if they beat Kansas City. You want to make it seem that they beat a team that's in the playoff. Name one team of those 6 victories that are currently in the playoff position. Name one.
My turn. Shannon Sharp. For 3 straight weeks, you have picked against my Cowboys. You said they would lose at Cincinnati, they would lose at home to San Francisco, and they would lose yesterday at home to the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. You also predicted that Washington would win the East yesterday by beating Carolina.
Yes.
So you've been wrong.
Right.
And I've been right.
So in other words, you've been right 3 weeks, I've been right 7 weeks, and now all of a sudden you right. Okay.
Shannon Sharp, here come my Cowboys. You should buy in, because they are slapping you in the face with what they are doing. They have now taken the ball away 10 times in the last 3 games, and they've given it away only 1 time in the last 3 games. Andy Dalton has thrown 7 touchdown passes in the last 3 games to just 1 interception, and it was by big play Slay yesterday. And he did play, if I'm not mistaken, he played the whole game at cornerback, so he's one of the better shutdown corners in the game.
No, hold on. If
so
you grade
he was out there, I think, for the whole game. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
Skip,
I
you love Pro Football Focus. Go look at the grade that Pro Football Focus has on Darius Slay and get back to me and tell me he's having a great season.
Okay, well, what is it? I don't know. I didn't look.
It's bad.
I just know he's really, really good.
No.
And he made a really good play on a 50-50 ball that if he gambles and loses on, CeeDee Lamb has another 70-yard touchdown, but no, he picked it on Andy Dalton. So that's the 1 turnover in the last 3 games. So let's look at these 3 games, shall we? My offense went to Cincinnati and hung 30 on Cincinnati. And
really?
Pittsburgh then went the next Monday night to Cincinnati and managed to score 17 points. That's the same Pittsburgh that exploded yesterday on the Colts. Would you believe that my offense hung 41 on San Francisco? And did you see what San Francisco did on Saturday to Arizona, to Kyler Murray?
Oh, no,
held
not
him
Kyler.
to 12 points.
Kyler didn't play.
Oh, I think he did play.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay.
12 points and 41 we scored on them. Then yesterday we hung 37 more on Philadelphia, and just 3 weeks back in Jalen's first start, albeit against Taysom Hill, they held New Orleans to 21 points. So they're not that bad. Don't give me that bad. So, again, my offense has now scored 30, 41, and 37 in the last 3 weeks. Over that span, that's the fourth most points scored in the NFL. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing not good things, but great things happening to my team, because my team would have folded with a game start like that yesterday. So Jalen Hurts takes the football. And by the way, Jalen Hurts for the game, you say he played terrible. He threw for 342 yards. He ran for another 69 yards. That's 411 yards that Jalen Hurts put up against my team. 411, and this man said he played terrible.
Time out. Last year in a playoff game, Lamar Jackson had over 500, but Tennessee beat him.
Okay,
so,
wait a second. We're comparing Jalen Hurts in his 3rd start to Lamar Jackson, the MVP?
Skip.
Seriously?
Let me ask you a question.
That's all you got?
Skip, what good is a damn dress if you don't get selected homecoming queen? So, in other words, he got dressed up, threw for all those yards, and he caught an L. So, what are we doing? Are we doing yardage or are we doing wins?
Then let's do his turnovers in the second half, shall we?
Yes, we shall.
He had one really bad idea interception that he threw into the end zone. One, but that was the only mistake he made in the whole game.
What about the one to Trayvon Diggs?
Okay, that was late. They were down 37-17, and he's just desperate. And the fumble, could we see the fumble real quick? It was not a fumble, and you can't hang this one on Jalen Hurts, because if they don't screw this one up and screw Philadelphia on this play,
I agree.
Jalen Hurts, this is his knee, his right knee for sure, is completely down on this, and they gave the ball to Dallas at the 12-yard line. If you call this correctly, if you review this correctly, they've got the ball 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line, and I'm pretty sure they're going to go in and score.
Well,
and if they do, guess what? It's a 7-point game, and I'm holding on for dear life.
Well, maybe
because Jalen Hurts scares me to death.
Maybe the replay official was watching Wonder Woman 1984.
Maybe.
But he did lose another fumble, and they were very fortunate enough to get that one back. So he did have 2. Skip, and I get it. And I said at the time, I ain't nowhere in hell that's a fumble, because both knees were down. Not one, both knees were down. But they stuck with the call that's on the field, Skip. They don't really like the official. They don't really like to overturn it, because I get all that.
And by the way, he had driven them 70 yards in 12 plays at that point. Another long drive against my defense, because my defense just sort of hangs on for dear life. But lately, it has been hanging on. And what I love the most is my offense did not quit in a game that they've been quitting in the past. They just hung it up, rolled over, and played dead for every team except for the last 3. And all of a sudden, yesterday, thanks to Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia goes up 14-3 in that game, thanks to an 81-yard bomb to Deshaun Jackson. Why they didn't go back to him more, I don't know.
Did he get hurt or something? Because I never saw him again.